Hi and welcome. My name is Peter Feysa and I'm a performance coach, I'm a seminar leader, and I'm the founder of the Conquer Any Fear Academy. Welcome to the tutorial that's going to change your life. This is going to help you maximize your confidence while you're speaking on stage. You can use it in other areas of your life if you want, but specifically when you're getting in front of people and you want to be able to maximize your confidence quickly, then these are the tips that are going to help you do it. And how do I know? Because when I first started coaching this, I wasn't coaching anybody, I was coaching me. I used to want to become a public speaker before I started doing it professionally, and I would have panic attacks on stage. I would be not only fearful, I would be having attacks. How I went from that, within a 5 to 6 month period of time, I won 4 speaking competitions and I started my first seminar. So how did I make that transformation? Is with these tips and tools. I've taught hundreds of other people in my business, and I'm going to teach you. So there are a bunch of things that I can teach you, but it's really the fundamentals that you really want to focus on. Don't worry about all the other stuff. But the very first thing that I want you to understand, this is tip number 1, is what I call blast your body language. This is what I mean by that. If I was to ask you on one side of this wall, that imaginary wall, if there was a completely fearful person, somebody who had a lot of anxiety, what would they look like? Well, you may think, okay, they're like this, right? And their chin goes down. Notice my voice started to lower naturally. Now look what I'm doing. I'm starting to cocoon. I'm starting to contract. Fearful people naturally contract. They shrivel up. Whereas confident people, if I sit on the other side of this wall, is a massively confident stallion or stallioness, whatever the female equivalent is. I just immediately started doing it naturally. They expand, they take up space. They're kind of like, their shoulders are back, their hands are out, their chin is up, they project. This is what they do naturally. So your belief centers affects the way that you feel and affects the way that you physically appear in this world. And you can trigger the opposite effect. When you go on stage, I still feel this. I still feel that like little fear anxiety. So when you first start going on stage, you instantly want to start blasting your body language. You want to start using hand gestures. This is what I immediately start doing. You want to start projecting. If you're fearful, you're going to want to hide behind that fearful energy, and you're going to want to speak low. I hope nobody hears how fearful I am. That's what beginners do. Project, expand, use your hand gestures. These are called bio triggers. So blast your bio triggers, blast your body language. The second tip, which is I think one of the biggest tips, this is literally the foundation, is to know your content. Here's what I mean by that. When you go on stage, you want to be confident. Am I correct? When you speak in front of people, you want to be confident. How could you possibly be confident if you didn't know what you were going to say? So in the beginning, what I recommend beginners do is to memorize your speech. Memorize it. If you can't memorize the whole speech, don't worry about it. Memorize the first few sentences in the last few sentences of your speech. You can screw up the middle. But if you know the beginning, when you're the most fearful is when you go on stage. That's when you're the most fearful. If you know the first 3 sentences by heart, word for word, you will feel safe. Because the worst feeling in the world, and I've been there, all pros have been there, is when you go on stage, you have no clue what you're about to say. So what I would like to suggest to you is that if you want to be confident, you have to be competent in your content. Tip number 3 is one of the best. This is what took me from being an amateur to professional. I actually remember the day that it happened. And I was like, what happened? That speech. This is what happened. This is what I call carry on the conversation. When you're out in front of a big group of people and you say thanks to the MC or the Toastmaster in your turn and you're like, oh my God, all these eyes are on me. What do? It's because you're seeing all these eyes. Who wouldn't feel freaked out if they saw 1,000 eyeballs on them, right? So what I do is I connect and lock eyes with an individual. I will connect with him and have a conversation for about 2 sentences with them, and then I'll move and I'll put my attention completely on another person. I'll carry on the conversation with somebody new for a sentence or 2, and I'm talking directly to them, and they're like, mm-hmm. And then I'll carry on the conversation with somebody else. I develop, or you will develop, tunnel vision when you do that. All these other faces will turn into one face. And we can have a conversation with one person, right? So your speech is nothing but carry on the conversation, and so on and so forth. This is like one of the biggest ways to feel comfortable and safe and authentic is when you just have a conversation with one person. The fourth tip is know your environment. Here's what I mean by that. Some of the biggest speakers in the world, the Brendan Burchards, the Tony Robbins, the Oprahs, not necessarily Tony, he could speak anywhere now. They will get to their big event, if it's going to be in an auditorium or if it's going to be in an office or wherever you're going to be speaking, and they'll get familiar with the environment. What I like to do is I like to go to the place that I'm going to be speaking. I like to take pictures. So the night that I'm looking at the pictures, I'm kind of getting familiar. I'm creating these mental images in my mind of the place that I'm going to be speaking. During the event or wherever I'm going to be speaking, if I'm in an office, right, I will be in the back. And I will be looking around at the individuals in the audience, and I get familiar with the people. The idea is that you create familiarity with your environment so you don't freak your brain out. One of the reasons why we get on stage and we feel unsafe is because we're not familiar with our surroundings. I physically like to go around and touch things. Brendan Burchard, he actually likes to do this too. He'll go to the stage, he will deliver his speech to an empty auditorium. And this gives him the confidence to be able to be authentic. So know your environment. Step number 5 is create fake memories. Now, you're probably thinking, like, what do you mean by create fake memories? This is what I mean. So let's just say you have your speech on a Friday afternoon. Well, you can do this on a Wednesday afternoon or a Monday afternoon, a few days or 2 weeks before, and you start to visualize yourself in that specific space, if you can get pictures of that space, delivering that speech word for word. Imagine in your mind's eye with absolute detail and clarity of you standing up, walking to the lectern, delivering your speech to the audience confidently, shaking the MC or the Toastmaster's hand and sitting down. It was a success in your brain. If you've had successful speech in your brain over and over and over again, you've created fake memories of success. And so when you actually get on stage, this is one of the things that I did in the beginning when I first started out. When you get on stage, you've already done it like 15, 20, 30 times. The more you do that, the more, quote, fake memories that you create, the more confident you will feel on stage. Remember, the key word here is safety. In order for you to be authentically you, and that's what really confidence is, isn't it? To be fully self-expressed, you have to feel safe. In order to feel safe, something has to feel familiar. So create fake memories will be a really powerful tool in your tool belt. The last tip that I'm going to give you is really the most powerful. I can't say it any other way. Get stage time. Now, if this is your first time speaking or just you've done it a few times, then all I have to say is that you just got to do it more. Now, the tips that I shared with you are really powerful, and they're going to help you on your first, second, third, fourth, fifth speech. And you're going to be, if you really do those things, you're going to feel way more confident. But if you really truly want to have mastery and you want to be speaking with people in the audience so authentically, you want to be able to laugh, you want to be able to come off energetic and strong and powerful and be able to deliver your message and command an audience, then you need stage time. You just need to do it a bunch. And here's also I just wanted to share with you. Don't judge yourself. I say that, but we're going to judge ourselves. Judge yourself. Catch yourself judging yourself and say, you know what? I did okay. Okay, maybe fumbled a few lines, but man, I'm human, right? So if you really truly want confidence, then get stage time. I recommend in the beginning, get as many speeches under your belt as you possibly can. Then you will come across as a truly professional speaker. So I hope these tips and strategies really helped you. They helped me, and I know that they're time tested and true. Time tested and true. They're time tested and true. And if you really master these skills, who knows what's available to you? But they're certainly going to give you that confidence and that energy to be able to deliver powerfully, whatever that speech is for you. My name is Peter Feysa, and I want you to conquer any of your fears that come between you and your ultimate vision. Make your dreams happen now.